Hurricane Helene was a very interesting time. We got to see a lot of clients' homes and hear a lot of people's stories. Linda McCune is a local artist, and she was a professor at Greenville Tech for over 30 years, sharing that gift with others. So when she saw this damage to her home and this rotting beam that was falling off of her home, she saw the potential to turn that into something beautiful. The beam itself had a shell of hardy siding, and underneath that hardy siding it had an extreme amount of rot. And so there was really no support for her home, and she'd had a number of teams come out that did not want to move forward with working on her home because of that risk of structural damage. This is the type of work our team does on a regular basis, and so we were able to quote it, source materials, and get it taken care of for her at about half the cost of the only other quote she had. At this phase in her life, she is immune compromised, and she needed to know that our team would follow the guidelines to make sure that we were masked up, that we were marking off our work areas. And that's easy for us. We're used to client request, and we're used to making sure that we take care of clients in their homes in every way we can. We asked her to share a little bit about her creative process, how she took this rotten beam, you can see it in the picture here, and she turned it into something beautiful, this piece of art. And she really got into the process that she uses in selecting her media, the approach, the timeline. It was awesome to hear her walk through her creative process, and I hope you appreciate it as well.
Hi there. I know you two folks are not ill. You told me you haven't come in contact with anybody, so I'm going to pull my mask off to be able to do the talk. Okay, this is my studio. It's pretty much always a mess. What happened was that Helene happened, and that's where Bruce and Ferguson Builders comes in. And my house ended up in the mesovortex, so the wind speed was between 85 and 120 miles an hour. So I had 25 trees down, 6 on the house. I remembered that the Ferguson Builders had done some work for me a couple of weeks back, and they'd done a good job. So I thought, well, I'll just call them and see if there's any way to fix this larger mess. There was a section of my living room where the trees fell on the open area beams, and the open area beams had hardy board on them. And so when Bruce came, he was very kind. He came in and he described to me everything I could do, ways I could go, and he was very fairly priced, I thought. And I knew that his craftsmanship was high, and that means a lot to me as an artist. So anyway, I would sit and have my coffee in the living area right next to this area where the boards were all broken and the trees were all in there. So once the trees got removed, then Bruce came out and removed the hardy board. 25 years worth of wear and tear. The boards were not in great shape. So I was able to sit there all that time having my coffee with these just devastated, dilapidated boards. And as it started to rain more and more and more, what they began to do was to sag, fall apart, and they had these configurations to them, you know. For the longest time I was looking at them going, oh my gosh, you know, my house is falling apart, my house is gonna fall in, whatever. And then one day I'm sitting there and, you know, my aesthetic side kicked in. And when it does that, I just let my brain go. I just let it go. And what it did is for really 2 days or more, just gravitated toward what I could do with this thing. So I began to do some sketch studies on what it looked like as it fell in. That's basically what happened here, you see, as it began to fall more and more and more and more and more. And at first it fell evenly from both sides, so it was balanced. You know, and over time, the longer it began to fall, the less balanced it got. One side fell more than the other at some point until it was really unbalanced. And then I thought, wow, this is really great. You know, nature telling me exactly what I needed to know about the composition if I'm going to work on this thing. I mean, you know, Helene was a mess, and I already had a good bit of health issues before that, and all kinds of things. So this time period in my life definitely needed not to be balanced. Based on the content and message, it needed to be unbalanced, and basically that's what it was showing me. I have been shooting images of this thing so I wouldn't lose it through my window, and the images were really bad. It was fuzzy, I couldn't see the detail and all that. And when he came back, I said, you know, before you take this thing down, can one of your folks just go right up on it, shoot the thing all the way across like that so I've got a reference. And I know they thought I was crazy. The guy that was out there shooting it, I'm not sure what he thought I was going to do with it. But anyway, they were kind enough to do all that. And then when they took it down, I asked them to save pieces of it so I would have a physical reality with it. And that's what the sculpture is now coming out of that. And then I took all of those photos and all of my little study sketches and cut them all up in pieces, put them back together. And then I made this little collage of, what I wanted it to look like. You can see just parts and pieces, little small things all sewn together. And that became my foundation for getting started. The shape of it, the fact that it continued to be more unbalanced over time, it was a really big deal. The fact that it was there at all, and I was able not to be mad with it, and it's fallen apart, and it's my house falling apart, but see it as an aesthetic, a whole different thing. For me, anything that's falling apart, starting to deteriorate, starting to do so I can see that time is playing on it, that is interesting to me. All right, so I started the work, okay? And of course, it's really far along now. I do my demarcations on a lot of my drawings with Staedtler graphite pencils. So that's the first layer, is the graphite. The second layer is watercolor. The vast majority of it's watercolor. This naturally had a Van Dyke brown glow to it. Also was a bluish cast to the concrete part. Okay, so I ended up with just 4 colors working on the whole thing, with just 4 colors. I found recently these QOR colors by Golden Paint Company, and I can tell you they're fantastic, just fantastic. So this is it for this work, just the four colors. And I tend to start on the right hand side and work the opposite of how I read. So I start here and I started here, and then I just crawl. I'll start in around 1 to 2 o'clock, and it won't take me 10 minutes until I'm in this zone world. That's a flow experience, and I don't hear things. I don't run any music. I don't want any noise, and it might be 6 or 8 o'clock before I'm out of that. It's just I just keep working and keep working, and then all of a sudden I know, oh my gosh, I didn't get lunch, I didn't get supper. Here it is, almost bedtime. And then sometimes I'll say, okay, well, you hadn't eaten all this time anyway. So I'll sit back down and let it roll, maybe till 12 or 1, I can do about 8 to 10 inches maybe in one day of one layer. So I started this one on March the 21st. I think I finished it yesterday. It may be something I find. Okay, so the second layer up is the watercolor. Okay, the third layer takes the longest time, and that's the charcoals. I use vine charcoals. Okay, and I also use chunky chalks. This is the chunky chalk. Super black, super rich. I use white charcoal as well as the black charcoal pencils. And then I start to do the shading, form making, line work, texture work. I mean, almost everything that makes this a form is with the charcoal. A lot of times I'll tape off the whites so that there's no dirt. Charcoal is very messy. The whites will be left at the end, so they're fresh. And then if there's other things that I want to do, let's see if I can, like here, little small tiny edges and so forth, then I'll do that either with a white charcoal pencil, or I'll do that with my Dr. Martin's pen white and a nib pen. It's a good old nib the old-fashioned way. I really love working with the nib pen, and that gives me all of these little small unique areas that are all linear. They're all linear based. So this is the fourth layer up, this one, okay? And then the very last thing I do is I will decide if it needs to be brightened somewhere. I went back and did more watercolor on the top of that. And then sometimes I'll pick up a new pastel. Pastels are difficult because they really do need to be framed in glass, and you can't send anything out with glass pretty much. But I don't use very much of them unless I know the whole thing is going to be new pastel. But I will come back and I'll just tap it if I need something brighter with the new pastels. They're hard, they're controllable, and I enjoy working with that brand. I wanted it to read in terms of time. And what you do when you're reading, of course, is in the Western cultures, you go from left to right. So in this one, the most deteriorated is here. The second up toward the original piece is here, and then here, and then you've got this original piece. So you're actually reading it in a time frame from its most deteriorated to the portions that we saw to begin with. Okay, and I thought that was super, super, super important. In my case, for Helene, what I was doing for the longest time is all my windows were covered with leaves. I was trying to find little peepholes to see what else was damaged. because I couldn't get out to figure it all out. So there were these little peepholes everywhere that I kept trying to look at out. And so it became really clear that I needed a window, a peephole, something going on there that would indicate to the viewer that somebody is behind it, behind the wall, trying to look out or get out. I cannot tell you how many windows I worked on, probably 20 or 25 different kinds of windows. And there was just no way. The proportional system of it was just wrong. And I came up with this little tiny, teeny one, this little small thing that had bars across it, you know, and I said, okay, and I could draw it such that you could see that there's something way back in there. And so I decided to put that in, and that functioned like I wanted it to, based on this brain turning and flipping things and thinking about being kind of trapped. As I was working more and more on the work and zoning out periodically, what that did too is this took me from the despair to a whole lot better attitude about the whole thing, plus somewhat joyous. And now that I'm working on the sculpture attached to this too, that's even more fun. So it was a little bit of therapy, catharsis, a little bit of catharsis in getting this done based on the trauma of the Helene damage. Okay, well, I want to say they came when they told me they were going to come, and in the time slot that they told me they were going to come. They rarely took breaks. They worked very hard all day long. The work that they were doing here got done a whole lot faster than I ever thought it would, based on the damage I had. At the end of the day, they always cleaned up after themselves. And what I had been doing with other folks that had worked for me over the 30-year period that I've been here, is every night I'd go down, I'd pick up the nails, I'd pick up the insulation, I'd pick up paper that's been strewn everywhere, I'd pick up, it was just a mess. And it stayed a mess when they left, so I would always have to go down and clean up and clean up and clean up. That was not the case with Ferguson Builders. And they were just kind, So I would hire them again. I don't want Helene to happen again, but I will definitely use them again in the future.
So we got the opportunity as a team, once we had wrapped up these projects and Linda had finished her art piece, to go to an artist exhibition where she had a number of her artworks. And that was kind of cool to be able to see the team be interested, ask questions, and involved in seeing her art and seeing what she does to make that impact on people. Her impact on me was very meaningful, and the art that she creates is beautiful. It is just such a unique type of art, and I think everybody can appreciate the beauty that she creates.